Open the PredictWind Offshore App. To download the latest forecast data, click and drag on the green start waypoint and the red destination waypoint to your desired locations. The relevant grid area and other associated forecast data will automatically be selected. You can manually adjust this area by selecting the grid view from the main menu, then by dragging the corners of the white box on the map. Click on the waypoint icon to manually edit the waypoint GPS coordinates. Here we can also add and delete waypoints to the route using the plus and minus symbols. However, you should minimize waypoints so the routing algorithm is free to find the fastest route. We will download a weather route and grids with a file size suitable for a first-time satellite connection. You can add or remove other parameters once you become comfortable with the download process. Once our waypoints are set, click the green download button on the main menu. This moves us to the first download settings page. Here we can change our parameters, which is very important for satellite and low bandwidth connections. The app comes loaded with suitable default settings for a satellite download. Grids on. Interval, this is the time step of the grids. We have 12 hourly selected. Days is the number of days. We have 5 days of grids selected. Resolution, we can choose 100 kilometers or 50 kilometer resolution. Highest res available gives us the highest resolution modeling. This would give us a very large file size, too big for our satellite connection. Forecast model. We can select the models we want to visualize in the grid format, keeping in mind that the weather route, which is only 10 kilobytes, will have all the variables for all models. Then we can select other forecast variables. The default settings are wind, rain, and pressure. Other options are wave, cape, gus, cloud, and air temperature. Now we can check our weather routing is turned on. Here we could also select departure planning to select the best day to depart, or a spot destination forecast to get a 7-day table format forecast at your destination waypoint, derived from the highest resolution grid files. These features require the standard or professional package. We can also select our weather routing preferences by clicking on the settings wheel. Here we can set the motoring options, polar percentage change to speed up or slow down the performance polar we had previously set in our account. Professional users can turn on the ocean and tidal currents for weather routing. We can turn on or off the comfort settings and set the parameters we want the weather router to try and avoid. For departure planning, we could adjust the departure spacing and the models used. Once we have made our selections, close the box and return to the download settings. The default start time is now, or you can select a time in the near future. The time is based on the time zone of the computer. Next is the GMDSS forecast, which is a small download and important for checking for weather warnings. Observations can give some insight into the actual wind readings in the grid area we are looking at. Click on Next to be taken to the second download settings box. The next option is ocean data. For this download, we have it turned off as it's covered in another tutorial. The next setting is satellite imagery, which is another option, but a larger file to download, so we will leave it off for this. Tracking data allows us to update our track manually and also bring in data from our buddy boats or boats in our rally. Now that we have these download settings, they will remain the same for future downloads. At the bottom of the screen, we now have our estimated file size. In this example, we have a file size which is acceptable for a satellite phone download. Click on Next. We are now on the Downloads page. Here you can select your connection type. Web is for LAN-based internet connections, Iridium Go, Red Port Optimizer, Global Star, Satellite for other high bandwidth satellite connections, and for SSB connections or a satellite connection without a direct connection capability, you can retrieve weather data via email. It is important at this stage to check that your Wi-Fi is on your chosen connection type. Once you have connected your Wi-Fi to the connection type on the top menu in the download box, then click Download All. When the files download, it's important to take note that not all models have the parameters available that you may have selected. Check what you have to avoid confusion later. You can also see the time that the forecast model was updated. Once all the files are downloaded and have a tick next to them, click the Close button. We are then taken to the weather routing tables that have detailed data for our weather route in the graphs, wind, summary, route, wave, current, atmosphere. This is also where the export function is for the weather route. Next we will click on Map. Here we can see our weather routes and grids together. Click on the play button to animate the routes and the grids. You can control this animation speed with the control toggle on the bottom right. The boats and grids will move in time. The colour of the route is related to the weather model. The animation can also be controlled by moving the ball on the slider or using the left and right arrows on your keyboard. You can view the wind in three formats: streamlines, wind barbs with pressure contour lines and wind speed gradient, and directional arrows with pressure contours and wind speed gradient. In addition, the other forecast variables such as rain, cloud, air temp, gust, cape, and wave can be viewed by tapping on the relevant menus if you have downloaded them. Use the standard click and drag to pan the map and the plus and minus to control the zoom in and out. To change between models, tap on the forecast model in the menu. To hide any or several routes, click on Toggle Routes at the top of the screen. You can turn off all routes to look at grids only. Use the main menu on the left to view other forecast formats. Select GMDSS from the main menu, then click on the link in the middle of the GMDSS area. GMDSS forecasts are text safety warnings that are written by meteorologists from the responsible regional Met Office. To view satellite images, select Satellite Imagery from the menu bar, then click on the link in the middle of the satellite image area. You can select between colour or black and white images. For ocean data, please see the Ocean Data tutorial. You are now ready to explore the Offshore app yourself. Please contact us on support@PredictWind.com if you have any further questions.